about a year ago, I'd say, I started receiving in my prayers a feeling that something isn't right, and I tore myself apart. I looked at everything that I was doing. I looked at my business. I looked at how we were doing things. I looked at everything, and I couldn't make sense, of what this meant. It was an overwhelming feeling, and then I realized, oh, it's not just one thing that you're looking for. It's everything. Everything is wrong, not meaning that we're doing something wrong. It just means the time is over for many things, almost everything. It's going to change. Everything is going to change. And this goes to, if I get a little emotional here, it's not for any other reason than I've been soul searching now for a long time, and I'm looking, back at the things that you and I accomplished together. And it's amazing to me. When I first formulated what would become the Blaze, it was 2009, 2010, and Barack Obama was surrounding himself with the Marxist radicals, the people who were former revolutionaries, people that were Islamicists. You had Bill Ayers, Valerie Jarrett, Cass Sunstein, CARE, George Soros, Code Pink, Tides Foundation. Some of these names nobody had ever really heard of. And nobody knew anything about the Tides Foundation, but we did our homework and we exposed it. One of the names that we exposed back then was Ron Gochez, and said, look at this guy. He is a teacher. He is part of a revolutionary communist group. This is going to play into trouble here soon. As I stood in front of those chalkboards and said, watch how the socialists, the communists, the Islamists, and the anarchists are going to work together, not because they love each other, but because they share a common enemy, the West. They're going to come together. And this Ron Gochez, I mentioned back in 2009 or 10, and we went back to the archives, and he is part of what's happening in Los Angeles right now. All of these things are coming true. And I said Israel would be the first target, then Europe, and then the violence would cascade and come here to America. And when I laid that out, not a single voice in mainstream media, not left or right, no one took that seriously. No one engaged with that. Not one single host, not one outlet, no one said, wait a minute, Glenn, why would you say that? Not one. Is there any truth in that? What is your evidence? Can you show me the evidence? Let me look at this and see what I come up with. It was like screaming in a hurricane while standing completely alone. Now, keep in mind, this is a time before podcasts meant anything. This is before Rumble. This is before Substack. This is while Netflix was still mailing movies to people. Before there was a serious media personality making any kind of impact online, because they weren't online. I left Fox to start the Blaze, and the day I did, somebody I really respected looked at me in the eye and said, you're not seriously going to do that online thing, are you? I mean, that's ridiculous. That's a fad. Now, it's funny just a few short years later how no one said that when Tucker Carlson left or when Megyn Kelly left. No one called it a fad then. They took it seriously because it had become serious. But when I did it, everybody said my career was over. And honestly, there were many nights that in the middle of the night, in the dark and alone and quiet, I believed that might be possible as well. But I believed in this because my goal was really simple, to break the barriers, to disrupt the mainstream media and create a safe haven, not just a single place where voices could be heard or just a single platform for those who, had spent their entire lives working to tell the truth, but then ended up in the network system and were forced to play ball with the corporate media and big government, and they couldn't. What I wanted to start was a movement. And all that usually requires is one person to roll the dice and show others it can be done, and then others will do it. And that's what happened. I mean, look at the army of truth tellers that have risen now. The Blaze. You've got Allie Beth Stuckey, Steve Deace, Nicole Shanahan. Our Department of Defense, Pete Hegseth, he started at the Blaze? There's so many people that started at the Blaze. You have the Daily Wire, Megyn Kelly, Joe Rogan, the Daily Caller, Tucker, Sean Ryan, Barry Weiss, Data Republican, all hundreds of independent creators, journalists, whistleblowers, citizen investigators, all standing where there was nothing but silence. Remember, the last election was not won by corporate debates, but by that fad called the internet and podcasts. And to every single person, I meet them every day. People say, I was one of the first subscribers of The Blaze. For every person who helped build this thing, thank you. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. And let me just say to you, mission accomplished. I used to say, this is the network that you are building. Let me just proudly say this to you today. Look at what you have built. Now, I want to make this really clear. This is not an ending of anything. I am not done. There's all kinds of speculation, with friends and people I work with, et cetera, et cetera. It's not an ending. It's not even close. And it's not an ending for me. It's not an ending for the Blaze. I know some of their plans. I know what they're working on. And the Blaze is going to continue to grow and expand just as I will. This is an expansion of the mission, our missions. Just today, I'm announcing a new chapter for me. And it's not a departure from the mission at the Blaze, but an expansion of it. Because while we have cracked the back, I think, of the corporate media, there's another system that is just as broken, just as corrupted, just as dangerous, and that is education. And it is my mission now, I believe, in the next chapter of my life, to do for American education what we did to legacy media. And what I am building is not a new news network. It's not Blaze 2.0. The Blaze is the Blaze. The Glenn Beck radio program will still continue stronger than ever. All of this stuff remains the same. The Blaze will remain fearless and unshakable, but what I'm building is something new, an expansion. It is a mission designed to spark a renaissance in how we teach and understand American history and civics and faith and service. And let me tell you, to everything there is a season, and we are ready. Since 2008, I have been quietly collecting rare documents and artifacts that tell the true story of America, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Because we have to have a place where we can find honest history, unfiltered, raw, based on their own words. And in partnership with David Barton and Wall Builders, we now hold the largest private collection of early American founding documents in the world. From the Pilgrims to about 1830, there's nobody bigger. I should say, Library of Congress and the National Archives hold more. But as private, we're the biggest. And for the last 3 years, we have been busy digitizing all of it, preserving it, and building systems and tools where you can access it directly. No gatekeepers, no ivory tower historians, rewriting our past, just you, the truth, and history that speaks for itself. Largely, this has been a private collection and not open to the public. That is going to change very soon. And part of that, along with other things that I am building, I have hired a team that is working literally day and night. One team on this side of the planet, another team on the other side of the planet. So we don't stop working. It goes from one hand to the other hand. So we're working 24/7 because there's not a lot of time, and nobody's sleeping now. And we're all working towards one goal, putting this collection and so much more into your hands. What I'm going to unveil here in the next few months, I hope will blow your mind. And yet, what I will show you in the next few months is it's like a lottery ticket, just scratching off just a little bit of the surface to reveal, what's there. And it's deep. But that is my next battle, and I'd like you to enlist you in helping. Something big is coming on both sides. But I don't want to be a revolutionary. I don't want to be battling on the streets. We need to win hearts and minds, because what's coming is historic. And just like with the Blaze, it doesn't belong to me. It won't belong to me in the end. It'll belong to you. And this is, I hope, a movement to rekindle curiosity, restore critical thinking, reignite belief in something higher than the chaos in our streets. You know, as I'm wearing my No Kings But Christ t-shirt that has been a personal thing of mine for years and years, but I just decided to release them. And I'm releasing them this week because they're having a No Kings event as they're protesting the president on Saturday. Well, no kings. Well, then who is your ruler? This is an old logo, really, from the founding of our country. It's the skull and crossbones with floating above the head is a crown, and it always meant no kings but Christ. That's what the founders were all about. No king but Christ. I answer to Christ. If they're just doing a no kings thing, who do you answer to? If you want to be a part of this movement from day one and be the first to know all of the information, I would urge you to go to glennbeck.com. If you haven't signed up for my free email newsletter, please sign up because I'm going to need you to help me build something new. Not a network. I don't even know. This is the blank that you are building. I don't know what it actually would be categorized as because it's something entirely new. But I hope, just like we can now with the Blaze, stand back and admire and say, my gosh, what a difference our work has made. Because if Los Angeles is teaching us anything at all, it's that the world that I have been fearing and pointing out was coming is here. And if history teaches us anything, it's that ordinary people led by truth can and will change everything. Will you join me again on this venture? More information to follow. Sign up now at glennbeck.com.